All right. Here we're working on chapter 1 of 6 chapter review for our EOCT. It says convert 5 miles to feet. If I'm going to convert 5 miles to feet, the first thing I got to figure out is how many feet are in a mile. So I got 5 is to 1, and you may not set it up like this. So 5 miles is to 1 foot as X miles is to, you got to have feet on the bottom there. And again, you may just take, anybody know how many feet are in a mile? You're going again, 5,280. There's 5,280 feet in a mile. So if I were to solve this problem, I would cross multiply, and then again, as the way you probably worked it is you just took a calculator, just took a basic calculator and multiplied 5 times 5,280, which, by the way, leads me to this. Guys, the day of the EOCT, what we'll do is we'll go to the lab. You'll get a little ticket that you have, and on this ticket it has some codes for you. The day we go and log into the computer, don't use your present username and password. As the first thing that you have to do is you have to log in as like EOCT 752 or something, and then the password is PIN. Don't log in as 1990 whatever. Don't log in that way. There's a very specific way you have to log in, because when you log in that way, it puts in there the profile that you need that we've loaded on the testing program. Okay, so that's the first thing. Make sure when we go in and you log in to start, you don't log in as your student ID and username. Okay, you log in as the one we give you. I think, if I remember right, it's EOCT or 750, which is the number of our school in Gwinnett County. Number 750 EOCT 2, because it's second semester. And so that puts that profile in, and then whatever the password is. Okay, then you open up the stuff and you start taking your test. This right here, 5 times 5,280. Guys, you cannot have your phone on you that day. Okay? What you have to do is you have all your book bags, and you'll put all your stuff in your book bag, zip it shut, and it's got to go at the front of the room. Okay? Then you start testing. The calculator that you use is one of those little bitty add and subtract and multiply and divide and calculate. You can't use a TI calculator. You can't have guys, if your phone goes off or the phone is like in the room, it causes a problem. I mean, we have to report it to our administrator and stuff like that. It's a big deal because they're trying to make sure that the tests are secure and that the questions are, there's a lot of money involved in creating this test, so they can't have somebody and it gets out of the room or anything like that. Okay, so it's a big deal. So first thing was our username and password will be given to you. It's not your E1996 or whatever it is that you use. All right, so anyway, did somebody figure out what 5 times 5,280 is? 26,480. Just 400? Sorry. Okay, again, all you might have done was take 5 and multiplied it by 5,280. But guys, I know some other stuff that's coming here, so I'm trying to prepare you for that. The number of calories a person burns during an activity can be approximated C equals KMT, where M is the person's weight in pounds, and T is the duration of the activity in minutes. Find the units for the coefficient K. Find the units. Are they just asking us to solve that problem for K? Yeah, I think it is too. So C equals K times M times T. C is calories. M and T. So M times T. What's the inverse of multiplying by M? Of multiplying by T. Yeah. So divide by MT. Divide by MT. So then K equals C over MT. Not a big deal. Convert 60 miles per hour to feet per minute. 60 miles in 1 hour equals how many feet and how many minutes? What's the problem here? Yeah, it's miles per hour. How many minutes are an hour?
60.
Not 5,280. 60 times 5,280. Yes? 60 times that. Is there any need to multiply 60 times 5,280 there? In this particular problem, there isn't. It's just 5,280. 5,280. In other words, 1 mile a minute. That's what 60 miles per hour is, guys. That's what 60 miles an hour is. Every minute you go a mile, and then you just repeat that process 60 times. Am I good? Now, mathematically, what they're trying to get you to do right here is they're trying to get you to waste the time of going 60 times 5,280 gives me this whole big number, and they'll have a really huge number right there. That's feet per minute. But you don't really have to do that. Because if you set it up and you understand that this is 60 miles per hour, and then this is feet per minute, all I have to do is convert hours to minutes. That's 60. So I just changed that. So I changed my number up here, I changed to feet. So 60 times 5,280. The result is I cancel out those 60s, and I find out it's 5,280. But what I'm trying to get you to see is, logically, think about what it's saying right there. 60 miles per hour is 1 mile every minute. And you end up 60 miles down the road an hour later. When Justin goes to work, he drives at an average speed of 65 miles per hour. It takes him 1 hour and 30 minutes to get to work. Distance formula?
Yes.
Okay. I understand what you guys are saying right there because we dealt so much with distance formula that way. But this is a distance formula in amount of ground that you're covering. This is distance equals rate times time. And there's two ways that you can deal with the distance formula. Either you're doing distance formula like we have been doing the last few weeks. Up here, guys. You do distance formula like we have been, or like the application that's here. And the distance formula is distance equals rate times time. Well, if I'm going 65 miles per hour, calculator, if I'm going 65 miles per hour, and I do that for an hour and a half, look, be careful there. Don't put 0.3 because it's 30. Put 0.5. Where'd I get 0.5 from? It's half an hour. So my time is 1.5. So the first thing I got to do in this problem is figure out what 65 times 1.5 is. Somebody? 97 and a half. So I've got to travel 97 and a half miles. Let's read the rest of the problem. His car travels about 25 miles per gallon. So I divide that 97.5 divided by 25, and I find out how much gas it takes me to get there. So it takes me 3.9 gallons of gas to get to work. What's the rest of this problem? The cost. It says if gas costs $3.65 per gallon and I need 3.9 gallons of it, how much does it cost the guy to get to work? 14 what? I want to talk to you about what Hagen said right there. He said about 4 gallons. Guys, that's part of this process in a multiple choice test. Know what your answer is going to be similar, be around. Kind of approximate it out before you go right there. Yeah. They got 1424. Okay. My point to you is this. Guys, if you're working a word problem on a multiple choice test and you get an answer like it cost him $16,280 to get to work every day, is that a very logical answer? No, you might want to slow down and make sure the thing makes sense. Okay? Realize that all the numbers around the problem have to kind of fit together and work. All right, there's 1 through 4. Anybody else? Okay, we're fixing to take a turn for. They'll get kind of interesting here. So hang with me. The formula for distancy is D equals M over V, where M is the mass and V is the volume. If mass is measured in kilogram and volume is measured in cubic, what is the rate for density? This is the second time they've asked us this, the rate for it. Are they trying to get us to find out what? For mass and volume, if is measured by kilograms and volume is measured by cubic, what is the unit rate? The unit rate. So you're saying this is what now? It's asking for the rate. That's the second time. Kilograms divided by cubic meters. Yeah, that's all they're asking for. Rate and slope. Guys, rate and slope is the same word. A lot of times for slope, they'll say rate of change. Same thing. It asks you for the rate here. All it wants to know is kilograms over cubic meters. They may also write kg. Watch this. Kilograms over m cubed. That's cubic meters. You write it m cubed. You read it cubic meters. That's all they're asking right there, guys. 6. A rectangular prism has a volume of 2 cubic meters. This should be up. A length of 40 and a width of 50. What is the height of the prism? First issue, First issue is V equals length times width times height. So,
Go out with him and answer it. See what he wants. I don't want to stop this recording.
length times width times height. So the volume is 2.
Everybody see what I see?
Again, guys, this right here is probably written wrong. It should be written like that.
So the volume is 2.
Meters sorry. The volume is 2 meters. The length is 40 centimeters. Well, this is a great question. The width is 50 meters. And height. Does anybody see?
Our first issue, they're all different. Because we got to get these all to the same thing.
If this is 200 cubic meters, that's different than centimeters. So when I multiply this down here, when I multiply 40 times 50 times H, this 2
Cubic meters,
the first thing that we got to do is we got to remember that conversions for metrics. Does anybody remember the conversion steps for metrics? But it's kilo, hecta, deca, then sets meter, liter, gram. You don't have a cute little drinking chocolate milk. Okay. But look now.
look what this says, guys. You need to see this.
You need to look up here. This 2 is sitting right here. There's a 2 right here. But all my other numbers are in centimeters. So I have to convert either this to cubic centimeters, which would be 2 every time I move. What do I do with the decimal? How many places? 3. Because this is 2 million. So 2 million divided by 200 should be 2,000 or 20,000? Oops, no H, I'm sorry. $2,000, I'm sorry. Where'd I get 2,000 from? Multiply with what? What's 40 times 50? I said 200.
It's 2,000. What'd I forget? 5 times 4 is what? 20. There's my first zero.
So that's divide by 2,000, divide by 2,000. Talk to me here. So what's the answer? 1,000. Tough one. What's the most basic reminder that we got to have here is right off, you guys noticed, that was good that we noticed this is in meters and this one's in centimeters. You can't have that. You got to have the same rate right there. A rectangle has an area of 12 square meters, so the area is 12, and a width of 400. So again, guys, look, we got the same problem. So 12 12 square meters. This time I'm going to add how many zeros? But how, if I go from centimeters, to meters, how many places have I? You guys just said it. King Henry died drinking chocolate milk. So if I'm here, every time I move one spot, I have to move my zeros 2 places because of that number. So I go from 12 to 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. We okay? So 12,000 equals 400 L. M? No. Yeah, L. Next. Divide by 400. Divide by 400. Should be 300. What is the area of the circle with a circumference of?
Gosh, great question again. What's the formula for circumference?
Pi times the diameter. Guys, we've unplugged. You can't.
Again, don't put it because of all these formulas. You'll get a formula sheet. Okay, that's one of the sheets that you'll get. Remember, we put all of our stuff up the front. You get a ticket. Another sheet you get is all your formulas that you'll need for the test. So you would be given the formula for circumference. What you've got to be able to do is you've got to be able to go, okay, the circumference is 43.98226. So what I'm going to divide this number by is I'm going to divide this number by pi, and that will give me my diameter. Does that help me find a radius? Okay, if I'm given the diameter, somebody with a calculator, what's 43.98226 divided by 3.14 divided by pi? What does it say? 14? Exactly. So your diameter is 14. If my diameter is 14, what's my radius? What? Very good. Radius is 7. If my radius is 7, up here, please. The formula for area of a circle is pi r squared. So now it's just a matter of taking r and squaring it. So I got 49 pi as my area. Now notice what they did is they went ahead and multiplied 49 times 3.14. Which one? Is that it? That's a toughie. That's because of the number of formulas you need to use.